Welcome to another off-script video. I'm gonna pause my background music for this. Or maybe just put something else on. But I just got hit with a wave of nostalgia, but also remorse. There's one game in my library that, despite being the one that I have the most time played in any first-person shooter besides Titanfall 2, the most recent most played, about at the beginning of this year, 2025, I made the tough decision to quit Overwatch 2. I don't know if I made a video of that. I don't think I did, and it was a couple, I think it was nearly a year afterwards. It was a year after my friend quit, and after he quit, he kinda, we played a little bit of Guilty Gear Strive, but overall, that gaming friend kinda, we just drifted apart. I tried to reach out a couple times. I still see him in a particular server, but for the most part, it's null and void. Even though there was messages yesterday, I'm pretty sure most of the activity in there is for Terraria. But anyway, Overwatch 2 was one of my biggest main games for a while. And honestly, it still can be. It still can be. It definitely could be. But I just don't. I think I want to go into why that is. There were a couple of reasons that I stopped playing in the first place. Like, the first couple hiatuses, you could say. I think around Season 8, 9, and 10 were my most inactive seasons, but I think I hopped back on around Season 12, maybe? Season 11? Or I might have been around for Season 10. I think, for the most part, my hero play, like, this was probably a big determining factor in my quitting of the game. My main was Zenyatta. In my first 100, 200 hours of the game, I barely played anyone but Zenyatta. I had a small amount of Genji, a small amount of Ramattra, Bastion. And then I started playing Doomfist because of a Twitch streamer and YouTuber called Toko. Toko used to play the game a lot too. But unfortunately, we both reached the same conclusion in our own way. Doomfist was an amazing character to play. Still probably is. Especially with the perks. The perks brought back a lot of magic to the game. And it actually made me take the game to a point that it couldn't reach. I had essentially become too much for the game. The reason I'm thinking about this all of a sudden, after 3 months, is right now, I'm looking at a series of untitled clips from May this year. And you know, actually this makes it so oh wow. Jeez, these are what in the world, man? These are crazy back. These are ways back. These go back to March, but the most recent ones are May. Those are my most recent Overwatch clips, May 14th. So, I'm about to come up on the literal 3-month anniversary of it. And I'm sad. But anyway, continuing. Doomfist. I started playing Doomfist a lot. I grinded ranked plenty. Not nearly enough, but yeah. I didn't grind my weeklies or I think I grinded my dailies a little bit, but not my weeklies. Not too much. Most of what I was focused on actually was the progression things. I really liked the progression system, it was nice. I think I'd play to hit clips. I'd play characters and just get better at the game overall. Then I started playing competitive a lot more because I started paying attention to my weeklies. I started participating in battle pass events, you know. I started getting competitive skins. I remember when I got my first gold skin, my first gold weapon skin for Zenyatta. I remember sitting there in... I called my friend. I called my friend I used to play Overwatch with, and I told him that I had just gotten my first golden skin. He was like, "Oh, sick," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm calling it the 24 karat gonad." Because I played Zenyatta, and his weapon is balls, if you don't know. They're basically just steel orbs that he hurls at people. Yeah. It was really funny at the time. Looking at that memory so fondly and knowing that I can never go back to that level of blissful ignorance gives me a bunch of heartache. But past that, I really fell off after that. I played less. I still played, but I played a lot less, and you know, honestly, I don't remember too much of my gameplay. I played for the stats, the hero, the experience. And then once I started paying attention to my weeklies, before I used to go off of the coins that you would get, then they removed the coins. They removed getting gold coins from weeklies, and this was a pivotal shift. This was the first event in a chain reaction that caused me to quit the game. Once the coins got removed from the weeklies, I was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be doing the battle passes. But this was also around the same time when we stopped getting heroes in battle passes, and this is also when we got a couple of new changes for Zenyatta, I think. No. I mean, I remember experiencing the cooldown for Discord. I remember experiencing that. It was very, very hard times, but it's whatever. I'm used to it now. It was really just a big change, though. Yeah, for the most part, that simple change of the reward being changed from a currency you usually wouldn't be able to get, or without buying it, but you could get small amounts of it. You'd get like 90 gold coins, and to be fair, anything worth gold coins is usually at least 250, and above that, it's like thousands, so they really want you to buy the currency, but you can technically grind small amounts of it by using the weeklies, and over time you'd build up this stock of golden coins. So it'd prove really useful. And then they changed it to Battle Pass XP. So I started realizing just how much Battle XP I would get. And I guess that triggered a dopamine effect in my brain whenever I got that big boost. You see the progress bar go side to side multiple times, and you're like, whoa, this doesn't usually happen. I don't clear this many levels most of the time. What made this happen? So I looked into it, and I realized, oh, shit, I make a lot of Battle Pass XP from these weeklies. So I started grinding more of them. And I realized that if you get the Battle Pass XP, at some point, the challenges themselves rewarded 5,000. I don't know when this happened. I know when I noticed it, but I don't know when it changed. But basically, there was one weekly challenge where you had 150 credits, and then the other challenges were mostly all 5,000 XP. I think there was one that was 2,000. And the most significant ones that you needed were, or the most significant ones that you didn't really have to try to get, those ones were unranked games. You had to get 45. Just complete 45. 30 competitive games. And you needed to get 20 wins, I think? Or, no, you just needed to play 20 games. Or play 30 games, it might have been those. Either way, playing and winning games, I think you had to win 20, play 30, of any game, unranked or ranked. Those were easy. It was the competitive games that held me back. And eventually it got to be too many games. And the problem was that I was trying to get the best Battle Pass XP, because I wanted to get the Battle Pass completed, at least to tier 80, because for the most part, I was just trying to get to that point. It was very hard to get past tier 80 at the time. But once I started getting there consistently by the end of the season, I would get 900 coins. They started including the paid currency in the Battle Pass at some point. I don't remember which season. It might have been the same time that they stopped including the heroes in the Battle Pass. But yeah, you'd get 150 credits every now and then. I think they'd have a total of 1,500 credits and 900 coins. So that was what it came out to. The 900 coins, the Battle Pass itself, the Premium Battle Pass, costs 1,000. And, you know, that means that every other Battle Pass, you can get the Battle Pass for free. Every other Battle Pass, though, it's not a very good number. And some, you know, That means that if you save up all of your competitive coins, technically, you will end up getting about 800 left over on that second season where you use your coins. And then you'd get about 1700 left over when you use the coins. No. So, at the end of the second season where you spend your coins, you'd have 800. And then you wouldn't be able to purchase next season. Actually, no, because if you get 900 coins the first season, the second season, you would be able to buy after the first instance of coins, which is 300. And since you only need the... Yeah, you're left with about 800 at the end of the season. So you start the next season with 800, and then you get the first instance. So I guess as long as you don't spend any of your premium currency, you can mostly buy every single battle pass. But I think over time you end up with less. Sorry, that was a big tangent. I mean, this is why it's off script. Anyway, so they started including the coins in the battle pass instead. So I figured, oh, you actually get more coins and you can actually buy a battle pass reliably every other season. Or every season sometimes. If you completely save it up. Which becomes a problem because some currencies, some skins have to be purchased with the coins. And you can't do it with credits. And I think that's stupid. But they are shop skins, so either way. This made it so my grinding all went to the Battle Pass. And it was all deterministic on Battle Pass XP. My coins, because I didn't have a job at the time, my coins were completely dependent on the Battle Pass. My Battle Pass Premium was completely dependent on completing the Battle Pass. So I needed to optimize XP. And without having Premium to give you the 20% boost, you had to optimize your challenges and completing them. So I would just slam out as many games as I could in one day, but then I'd have enough of it, I'd burn myself out. So the next day I didn't really want to play as much, and then I'd beat myself up over that. And then the next day it's like, I have slightly more energy because I didn't play that much yesterday. But over time, I just constantly used it. And eventually my battery just wasn't there, dude. It just wasn't fucking there. Just wasn't there. And after all that, after grinding it for enough time, there was this big thing coming to Overwatch, right after perks, in fact. And at the time, I didn't like how Stadium was looking. I really didn't. I thought it was a nice thing, but I also thought that I wouldn't like it. I'm not sure why I thought that, I don't know. So, it was a perk system, but it was way bigger. And it was determined by the currency you earn each round. I already could see that there was going to be meta loadouts, and that really, it shouldn't have counted as a competitive game mode, but they crossed a line. They crossed a line when they put it in the weekly challenges, because that made it so me, as a complete fucking, this was when I got a job, okay? When they rolled out the perks, I had a job, so this was when I was able to buy battle passes and buy currency for the stuff I wanted in the shop. Not much, but, you know. Eventually, I decided to fully calculate how much time I needed to spend on the game per week, and how many games I would have to play per day to complete the weekly challenges. I figured out eventually that I would have needed to play 17 games a day. Just raw. 17 games a day. And the inconvenient thing is that I fucking hated playing Stadium. They made it so it was 45 unranked games, 30 ranked games, and 10 Stadium games. Luckily, Stadium counted as a ranked game. Stadium counted as a ranked game mode. It counted as competitive. So, technically, I could have kept the game amount the same if if I cared about Stadium at all. And the thing about Stadium is that I would constantly lose because I didn't care enough about the game mode to get good at it. It was so slow compared to the rest of the entire game. Stadium might have been honestly one of the main reasons I quit, okay? And honestly, I could have avoided it plenty if they didn't put it in my weekly challenges. But unfortunately they did, okay? And I really liked the weekly challenges that were just game modes and playtime because... Sorry, I just hit the mic. I really hated the weekly challenges that weren't game modes and playtime because those ones I could just do passively. I just had to play the game. And unfortunately, just didn't end up working out. I didn't want to do 17 games a day. I didn't want to play Stadium. I didn't like the way it was looking. Eventually, stuff just piled up. I didn't like how much I was playing the game. It wasn't equivalent to how much I actually wanted to play the game. I had other games that were already starting to come in, and it was also hurting how much other friends wanted to play other games. Eventually, Overwatch 2, I tried to maximize it. I tried to get to Battle Pass tier 200. I ended up getting to 145, because I only tried at the end of the season. And I started off a new season, season 16, I think, with calculations. I already didn't like that they were adding Stadium. I felt like it was too much. Too much, too frequently. We already had 6v6, we already had perks. People were still figuring out perks and they were still taking away and adding new perks. And now we've got a whole new game mode. One that takes sometimes 30 minutes. Takes a crap ton of playtime. And it just felt like too much. And eventually I was looking at it, and I realized that I couldn't get what I wanted out of the game. Not anymore. I wanted to get to Battle Pass tier 200, wanted to be a full completionist. And I technically had the time to do that. I wasn't even getting scheduled that much at my job. But I had other games. I had other things I wanted to do. And most importantly, I still attended school at the time. It was a way to have a work ethic in a way, I guess, before I had a job. And you know, ever since I got a job, I've been trying to maximize a lot of things. And it's worked out pretty well. But yeah, eventually, after all that, I couldn't take it anymore. So, I made the hard decision to take it off my taskbar. That was the first thing. I took it off my Windows taskbar. I stopped playing. But I left it installed in case the feeling changed within a week. And unlike every other time I've taken a break, it didn't change in a week. It stayed unplayed, and eventually I uninstalled it. It's been about 2 months since I uninstalled it, and 3 months since I stopped playing. And I can't tell if it's unfortunate or embarrassing to say this, but I'm on the verge of tears saying that. Like, admitting that I'm on the verge of tears. It's a little embarrassing. But the total amount of playtime that I amounted in the game was 500. 500 hours. Not nearly as much as some people, but 60% of that playtime was on Zenyatta. The other, well, I'd say 30% of it was on Doomfist. I started to experiment a lot towards the end of my playtime. And now that I've dropped it, I think I might have left it too quick. Because when I didn't know what to play, and when I had nothing I wanted to do in other games, Overwatch 2 would always be there to waste my time. And it was fun. I'll admit it, it was fun. I miss refreshing my punch cooldown on Doomfist with the perk, getting a quadruple punch. That's a clip I just reviewed. Getting Junker Queen knife pulls, getting the lifesteal from the Carnage, doing stuff with Alma, with her perks. I'm pretty sure one of the things was there was something to do with the sleep dart, I think. No, it was self-nano, yeah. Freya. Dude, Freya was my first actual damage main in the game that I really loved. Every new damage hero that was released in Overwatch 2 was just another hero, like, for me to say, okay, is this one gonna be my main? Because I didn't like playing damage. I really didn't. The whole class just didn't have anything that hooked me until Freya. The mechanics just were so clicky. And then, I mean, dude, I started playing Ryan. I loved playing Ryan for the first time. Like, I got inspired by Flats. I saw Flats playing Ryan. I was like, huh, maybe it could be fun if I get good enough. Oh, and Ramattra, dude. Ramattra, the ultimates I hit, dude. Annihilation was one of the best ultimates in the game, because it could make you feel like you were invincible. Or it could make you feel like you were a 5k waiting to happen. Bastion was always some dumb fun. Same thing with Cassidy. And Malgo was also dumb fun. And then Zenyatta. Zenyatta was one of the best. one of the best characters I've ever played in a game, ever. Along with Doomfist, but Zenyatta is really important. I loved the healing mechanic. I loved the harmony in Discord, the flow of him holding a volley down, hitting those consistent projectile shots. His projectile aim spoke to one of the most core parts of my arsenal as a gamer. One of the first-person shooters I actually played was Titanfall 2. Like, something that I actually played for a while. I got 686 hours on it, on console. Played it when I was about 12 years old, and I was an EPG main. And it was so fun, and it hardwired my brain. Projectile aiming is literally all mental. It is completely mental. It's not about reaction time. It's about planning ahead. It's about having that foresight. And Zenyatta rewarded that a lot. I even got the mythic skin. In fact, what's his name? I forget the name of the guy who was part of the Freaks. Yeah, I really can't remember. Well, either way, it's the Scottish tank that got added. I think it's the most recent tank. It is really nice to see the progression of the heroes in the game, and that tank was one of my favorites. Very nice mechanics. I'm getting to the point where I just want to say that, you know, I think I'm just going to read my Discord message here. I know it's a sinking ship. It's not something I should invest my time into. There's better rewards in other games, but I miss it so much. I miss it so fucking much. I missed doing charge punches as Doomfist, or Malga perk setups, and especially Zenyatta. I miss my two mains from that game, but I know that at the same time, I can't go back. It's not the same. Before, I was fueled by the motivation of smaller goals. And now I've gotten too maximized. A lot of games just don't pass because they don't provide as much reward for the time you put in. For Overwatch 2, it's just a matter of requiring too much of my time, but other games didn't have limited battle passes like DRG. In DRG, Deep Rock Galactic, you can select whatever battle pass you want. Other people don't have to be playing that battle pass for you to play with them. And they take a while to make a battle pass anyway. So, and it's completely free, there's no premium tiers. And other games rewarded more skill of the player, like Trackmania. Other games gave you the fruits of your labor and experience, like Pixel Strike 3D. So far, it's only gotten better with time. And I think I'm reaching the plateau. But it's been pretty nice. It might not be the best example, but either way, I'm sad. I wish I could go back to the way it was. It was a simpler time for my gaming. One where the amount of time I spent didn't matter. It was just however much fun I had, and I can't go back to that. I really can't. I mean, I could technically if I wanted to, but I know the consequences of not caring about the time you spent on something. And I've got a job now. We're getting into the busier season. These next few months are going to be rough. Hell, I mean, like, I'm talking about Overwatch 2 and how much I miss it right now. And in the back of my mind is Titanfall 2. I haven't played that game for 3 years. The vanilla version hasn't worked, and I don't want to play the modded version because I know I don't have to. But at the same time, I know most people play on North Star anyway. But Titanfall 2 doesn't reward me anything. Not anymore. The PvE game mode. I already got all of the Aegis ranks for all the Titans on the vanilla version that I had. But past that, nothing. Now, it's gonna remain in the same state that Overwatch 2 does. Maybe if streaming explodes enough, it'll allow me to play games that waste my time more. Just to fill in the gaps, you know. I wish it could have been different. Anyway, this has been a pretty big, unscripted recording. I know there's been some big pauses, and I'm sorry if I speak really slow about this, but I'm in my feels right now. Most of what I'm sorry to is Overwatch 2. I really wish I had friends to play that with, but I don't. Thanks for watching. I miss Overwatch 2. I hope the one day that I decide to return to it, that it feels as good as possible. As good as that game can. Tiene de la colache.